I woke up to a crash that pulled me from my dreams. My phone lay on the floor, face down, and I could see my nephew Lucas standing there, wide-eyed and trembling. He had spilled milk all over my white sheets, and my heart sank as I took in the mess. "Lucas, what happened?" I asked, my voice still thick with sleep. "I'm sorry, Aunt Clara. I just wanted a glass of milk, and then I didn't mean to," he stammered, glancing nervously at the puddle on the bed. I took a deep breath, trying to shake off the fog of confusion. It's okay. Just help me clean it up, all right?" But as I knelt down to pick up my phone, Lucas looked at me with an expression that made my stomach twist. "Aunt Clara," he said slowly, "is Uncle Tom mad at you?" His question hit me like a cold wave. What could he possibly know? "Why would you think that, sweetie?" I asked, forcing a smile that felt more like a mask. "I saw him with Anna yesterday," he said softly, his voice barely above a whisper. Panic shot through me. The air suddenly felt thick, as if a storm was brewing. "What do you mean, Lucas?" I pressed, my heart racing. "I just saw them talking in the park." "They looked happy," he replied, his innocence cutting deeper than I expected. Before I could respond, there was a knock at the door, and Anna, our neighbor, stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. Her presence filled the room with an unsettling energy. "Oh, I hope I'm not interrupting," she said, her voice bright and cheerful. But there was something in her smile, something that made my skin crawl. "No, not at all," I managed, forcing my tone to match hers. "Just a little morning chaos here." Lucas darted out of the room, leaving me alone with Anna, who sauntered closer. "I brought over some muffins. Thought you might like a treat," she said, placing a basket on my bed. It felt like an offering, and a challenge all at once. "Thanks," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. But the tension hung thick between us, and I could feel it in my bones. Did Tom know she was here? Did he know how close she was to me, to our life? Just then, my phone buzzed on the floor, and I reached for it, my heart pounding. The screen lit up with a message from Tom. "Can we talk later?" My breath caught in my throat. Did he sense my unease? Did he know that I was starting to put the pieces together? I looked up at Anna, who was watching me with an intensity that made me shiver. "Is everything okay?" she asked, tilting her head slightly, as if she could see right through me. "Yeah, just family stuff," I replied, but my voice trembled. I felt a pit of suspicion churning in my stomach. What was going on between Anna and Tom? Was I imagining things, or was there something more? I wanted to scream, to demand answers, but the words caught in my throat. Instead, I just forced a smile and nodded, wishing the ground would swallow me whole. "Lucas is a sweet boy," Anna said, breaking the silence. "You're lucky to have him." I nodded, my mind racing. "Yes, he is. But, what about you, Anna? How's your day going?" "Busy, as usual," she replied, her eyes flickering with something I couldn't quite place. "You know how it is." And just like that, I felt the walls closing in. A sense of dread settled over me. Was this how it started? The secrets, the lies, the unraveling of everything I thought I knew? I swallowed hard, trying to steady my breath, knowing that something was off, and I was desperate to find out what it was. As Anna chatted away, her words faded into a blur. All I could think about was Tom's message and Lucas's innocent confession. I needed to uncover the truth, no matter how painful it might be. What was I willing to face? And would I be able to handle whatever lay beneath the surface of my seemingly perfect life? As I sat on the edge of my bed, the morning chaos still swirling in my mind, I tried to grasp the reality of my life. I looked around my room, at the spilled milk soaking into my sheets, and I felt a wave of confusion wash over me. My life with Tom had always seemed perfect, or at least close to it. We had our routines, our laughter, and dreams for the future. But now, doubt crept in like an unwelcome guest, testing the foundation of everything I held dear. I closed my eyes and let memories flood my mind. I remembered the way Tom used to hold me close, the soft whispers we shared during quiet evenings. I could almost feel his warm breath on my skin, the way his fingers brushed against my hair. But those sweet moments now felt like shadows, fading fast in the light of my growing fears. Why can't I shake this feeling? I whispered to myself, the words echoing in the quiet room. I wished I could go back to a time when love felt simple and safe, before secrets clouded my vision. Then, the image of Anna crept into my thoughts. I remembered the times we had shared, how she would drop by with cookies or invite us over for dinner. But now, those memories twisted in my mind, tainted by the unsettling knowledge of her connection to Tom. I recall the sunny afternoon when I caught them laughing together at the park, a moment that now felt like a dagger to my heart. "Clara?" Lucas's voice pulled me from my thoughts. He stood at the door, his small figure looking uncertain. "Can I come in?" "Of course, sweetie," I replied, forcing a smile. "What's up?" He walked over and sat next to me on the bed, glancing at the mess. "I'm sorry about the milk." "I'll help you clean it," he offered, his innocence a balm to my frayed nerves. "Thank you, Lucas. But it's okay. We can clean it later," I said, trying to sound cheerful. "I just need to think for a bit." Lucas looked at me with a serious expression. "Aunt Clara, are you okay? You seem sad." His words pierced through my defenses. "I'm just a little worried, that's all," I admitted, my heart aching at the thought of burdening him with my troubles. "But I'll be fine." He nodded, but I could see the concern in his eyes. "I saw Uncle Tom with Anna again," he said quietly, as if he was afraid of saying too much. My breath caught in my throat. "What do you mean?" "They were at the park yesterday," he explained. "Just talking and laughing. They looked happy." His words felt like ice running through my veins. "Lucas, did they see you?" I asked, my voice trembling. "No, I was hiding behind a tree," he said, his brow furrowed in concentration. "But they seemed like friends. I thought you should know." "Thank you for telling me, Lucas," I said, my mind racing. I felt trapped in a whirlwind of emotions. My heart ached, and a sense of betrayal tangled with confusion. "I want to help," he said, his small hand finding mine. "You can trust me." I squeezed his hand, grateful for his innocence. "I know, buddy. You're the best," I said softly, my heart swelling with love for him. But the warmth of our moment faded as I thought about Tom. Why was he spending time with Anna? Was this a friendship, or was it something deeper? I felt my heart race with anxiety. I needed to uncover the truth, even if it meant facing the darkest corners of my mind. "Lucas, can you promise me something?" I asked, looking him in the eyes. "Anything," he replied eagerly. "Don't tell anyone what we talked about, okay? Not even your mom." "Okay. I promise," he said, nodding seriously. As he smiled at me, I felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps I could find a way through this storm. But I also knew that I needed to confront Tom. I couldn't live in the shadows of doubt any longer. I needed answers. The day stretched ahead of me like a long, dark tunnel, and I felt the weight of the secrets hanging over my head. Would I be brave enough to seek the truth? And if I found it, would I be able to handle what lay beneath the surface of my seemingly perfect life? With Lucas by my side, I took a deep breath, preparing myself for the confrontation that was destined to come. I had to know. I had to unravel the threads of my life, no matter how painful the truth might be. That night, the rain poured down, tapping softly against the window, as if nature itself was trying to calm my racing heart. I sat on the couch, staring at my phone, the screen glowing like a beacon of dread. I had decided to confront Tom. I could no longer live in this fog of uncertainty. With each passing minute, my heart pounded louder, echoing my fear and anticipation. What would I say? How would he react? I felt a knot in my stomach as I recalled Lucas's innocent words about Tom and Anna. I rubbed my temples, trying to ease the tension. Finally, the front door creaked open, and I heard Tom's familiar footsteps. I took a deep breath, my heart racing. He walked into the living room, shaking off his wet coat, and looked at me with a smile that felt like a thin veil over the truth I was about to uncover. "Hey, Clara. You're still up," he said, his voice warm but laced with an undercurrent of nervousness. "Yeah, I've been waiting for you," I replied, trying to keep my tone steady. "Can we talk?" "Sure, what's up?" he asked, his brow furrowing slightly as he moved closer. I took a moment, searching for the right words. "I need to know the truth about you and Anna." The words spilled out, sharp and direct. Tom's expression shifted, confusion washing over his face. "Anna? What do you mean?" I felt my pulse quicken. "Lucas saw you two together at the park. He said you were laughing and looked happy." "What is going on, Tom?" His eyes widened in shock, and I saw vulnerability flicker in his gaze. "Clara, Just tell me. Are you and Anna having an affair?" I interrupted, my voice rising with emotion. The rain pounded harder outside, mirroring the storm inside me. "No. It's not like that," he exclaimed, running a hand through his hair. "We're just friends. I promise." "Friends?" I scoffed, my heart aching. "Is that what you call it? When you spend time with someone behind my back? When you can't even tell me where you are?" Tom looked down, shame creeping across his features. "I didn't mean to hide it from you. I thought it wouldn't bother you. Anna has been going through a tough time, and I wanted to be there for her as a friend." "A friend?" I echoed, my voice breaking. "You think it's okay to be there for her while I'm here, feeling like I'm losing you?" He stepped closer, his eyes pleading. "Clara, I never wanted to hurt you. I love you. Please believe me." I shook my head, tears welling in my eyes. "Love? How can you say that when you're sharing your time and laughter with her? It feels like you're choosing her over me." "I'm not. I swear. I'm just trying to help." "I didn't see it as a big deal," he said, desperation creeping into his tone. I felt my heart shatter with his words. "Not a big deal? Tom, this is everything. It's not just about you helping someone, it's about trust. You're breaking that trust." The silence that followed was heavy, filled with the sound of rain hitting the roof like 1,000 unanswered questions. I could see the pain in his eyes, but I felt the weight of betrayal pressing down on my chest. "I never meant to hurt you," he said softly, his voice trembling. "I didn't want to tell you because I was afraid of how you would react. I didn't want to lose you." "Then why did you let it get this far?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "I don't know," he admitted, tears starting to brim in his eyes. "It just happened. I got caught up in trying to be there for her, and I lost sight of what really matters." I shook my head, feeling lost. "What does that even mean for us, Tom? Can we ever go back to how things were?" He stepped closer, reaching for my hand. "I want to try. I want to fix this. I love you, Clara. I'll do whatever it takes to make it right." As I looked into his eyes, I felt a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, and a flicker of hope. But how could I trust him again? The storm outside raged on, mirroring the turmoil inside me. "Tom, I don't know if I can believe you right now," I said, pulling my hand away. "I need time to think." "I understand," he said, his voice heavy with regret. "But please know that I'm here. I want to work through this together." I nodded slowly, the weight of our conversation settling in. It was a turning point, a moment that shattered the illusion of my perfect life. Now, I had to decide what came next. The road ahead was uncertain, but I knew I had to face it head-on, no matter how painful the truth could be. In the days following our confrontation, I felt like a ship lost at sea. The waves of confusion and sadness crashed over me, dragging me down into depths I hadn't known existed. My heart ached for Tom, but the sting of betrayal still burned fresh in my mind. How could I reconcile the love I felt for him with the truth of what he had done? I spent hours sitting on the couch, staring blankly at the walls. The house, once filled with laughter and warmth, now felt cold and empty. I replayed our conversation over and over, each word echoing in my mind like a haunting melody. It seemed impossible to return to the way things were before. "Clara, can we play a game?" Lucas's voice broke through my thoughts one afternoon. He stood in front of me, his eyes wide with innocence and concern. I looked down at him, forcing a smile. "What game do you want to play, buddy?" "Let's play hide and seek. I'll count to 20, and you find a good hiding spot," he said, bouncing on his toes with excitement. I felt the corners of my mouth lift slightly. Lucas had a way of bringing light into the darkest moments. "Okay, but you have to promise to count really loud." "Promise," he shouted, already covering his eyes. As he began to count, I felt a flicker of joy. I dashed into the hallway and squeezed myself into the small space behind a stack of boxes. I could hear his little voice counting, and for a moment, I lost myself in the game. But even as I hid, the weight of my reality pressed on me. I could hear Lucas giggling as he searched for me. "Clara, where are you?" When he finally found me, his laughter filled the room, and I felt a warmth that contrasted sharply with the coldness of my heart. "Gotcha," he exclaimed, and for a moment, I forgot about my worries. "Okay, your turn to hide now," I said, trying to keep my voice cheerful. Lucas counted again, and I took a moment to breathe. As I watched him play, I realized that life still held moments of joy, even amid my pain. But the question lingered in my mind, was it enough to hold on to? Later that evening, Tom came home, his presence filling the air with a mix of comfort and tension. I could feel the weight of his eyes on me, searching for a sign of forgiveness. But I wasn't ready to give him that gift yet. "Hey, Clara, how was your day?" he asked, trying to sound casual. I looked up from the dishes I was washing, my heart heavy. "It was fine," I replied, keeping my voice flat. "Just fine," he pressed, stepping closer. "I know things have been tough since everything." I turned to face him, my heart racing. "Tough?" "Tom, it feels like my whole world has been turned upside down. I don't know how to feel right now." "I understand," he said softly, his eyes filled with regret. "I never meant to hurt you. I want to make things right." "Make things right?" I scoffed, wiping my hands on a towel. "How can you fix trust when it's been broken? You were supposed to be my partner, Tom. And now I feel like I don't even know you." He took a step closer, his voice low. "Clara, please. Just give me a chance to explain. I messed up, and I'm sorry. I'll do anything to fix this." I shook my head, tears threatening to spill over. "I don't know if I can believe you right now. I need time to think." "Take all the time you need," he replied, his voice heavy with sorrow. "But I'm here, waiting for you. I want to fight for us." As he walked away, I felt a mix of emotions swirling within me. A part of me wanted to reach out, to hold on to the love we once shared. But another part screamed for me to protect my heart from further pain. That night, as I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, the silence felt deafening. The shadows danced across the walls, and I couldn't help but wonder what the future held for me. Was it possible to rebuild what was lost? Could I find a way to trust him again? As I drifted off to sleep, my mind raced with questions, and I realized that the journey ahead would not be easy. But perhaps, just perhaps, there was a glimmer of hope waiting for me amidst the darkness. The next week felt like a blur. I knew I had to face the storm inside me, but the thought of talking to someone about my feelings scared me. Finally, I decided to go to therapy. I figured if I could just talk about my pain, maybe I could understand it better. On my first day, I sat in the waiting room, tapping my foot nervously. The walls were painted a soft blue, and the chairs were comfy, but I felt far from relaxed. When the therapist, Dr. Harper, called my name, I took a deep breath and followed her into her office. "Hi, Clara," she said, gesturing for me to sit down. Her voice was warm and inviting. "What brings you here today?" I hesitated, unsure of where to start. I'm feeling lost," I finally said. "My husband cheated on me, and I don't know how to deal with it." Dr. Harper nodded, her expression sympathetic. "That's a heavy burden to carry. It's okay to feel lost after something like that. Can you tell me more about how it makes you feel?" I took a moment to gather my thoughts. "I feel hurt and angry. I loved him so much, and now everything feels broken. I don't even know if I want to stay with him." "Those feelings are valid," she replied gently. "Betrayal can shake the foundation of trust. It's important to explore what you need to feel safe and secure moving forward." As our session continued, I began to unpack my emotions. I talked about the joy I had felt with Tom, the dreams we had built together, and how quickly everything crumbled. I even shared moments that had once made me feel proud, now clouded by doubt. "I just want to feel whole again," I whispered, tears streaming down my cheeks. "I don't want to lose myself in this pain." Dr. Harper leaned forward, her eyes kind. "Rebuilding your sense of self is crucial. Your worth is not tied to your marriage alone. It's okay to prioritize your own happiness." Her words struck a chord within me. For so long, I had defined myself through my relationship with Tom. Maybe it was time to rediscover who Clara was outside of being a wife. As weeks passed, I continued to see Dr. Harper. I learned to express my feelings clearly, not just to her, but also to Tom. One evening, I sat across from him at the kitchen table, feeling a mix of fear and determination. "Tom, I need to talk," I said, my voice steady. He looked up, concern etched on his face. "Okay. What's on your mind?" "I've been going to therapy," I admitted, watching his reaction closely. "And I'm starting to understand my emotions better. I need to know if you're willing to work on our relationship too." Tom's eyes softened, and he nodded slowly. "I want to, Clara. I really do. I've been doing a lot of thinking too. I never wanted to hurt you, and I'm sorry for the pain I caused." "Apologies are a start," I replied, feeling a flicker of hope. "But I need to see real changes. It can't just be words. I need to feel secure again." "I understand," he replied earnestly. "I am committed to proving to you that I can be the husband you deserve. I want to rebuild your trust." I took a deep breath. "It will take time, Tom. But I'm willing to try if you are." His face lit up with a mixture of relief and gratitude. "Thank you, Clara. I promise I'll do everything I can." As we talked, I felt a small weight lift off my chest. It was a long road ahead, but for the first time since the betrayal, I felt a sense of possibility. I would focus on my healing, and perhaps Tom would join me on this journey. That night, as I lay in bed, I reflected on our conversation. The shadows still loomed, but there was a tiny light peeking through. I realized that seeking closure was not just about fixing what was broken, but also about understanding myself. I was learning to stand firm in my own identity, and that, perhaps, was the first step toward healing. The days turned into weeks, and I felt a shift within me. Tom and I had begun attending couples therapy, a step I once thought would be impossible. I still felt nervous every time I walked into Dr. Harper's office, but there was also a flicker of hope. Together, we were trying to navigate the rocky path of rebuilding trust and intimacy. "Clara, how do you feel about our progress so far?" Dr. Harper asked one afternoon, her voice calm and encouraging. I glanced at Tom, who sat beside me, his fingers nervously tapping on his knee. I think we're starting to understand each other better, I said, choosing my words carefully. But there are still moments when I feel unsure. Tom nodded, his expression serious. I get that. I know I hurt you, and it's going to take time to heal. I want to be open with you, but sometimes I feel scared of saying the wrong thing. Dr. Harper smiled gently. It's okay to feel scared. Vulnerability is a big part of rebuilding a relationship. It's important that you both share your feelings, even the difficult ones. I guess I've been holding back, I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. I want to express what I feel, but I don't want to hurt you either. Tom turned to me, his eyes filled with sincerity. I need to know how you feel, Clara. I want to be better for you, but I can't read your mind. Taking a deep breath, I decided to open up. Sometimes, I feel like I'm still stuck in the past. I think about what happened with Anna, and it makes me question everything we had. I loved you so much, and now I'm afraid to love you again. I'm so sorry for that, Tom replied, his voice heavy with regret. I never wanted to take that from you. I want to show you that I can be trusted again. Dr. Harper nodded, urging us to keep talking. Clara, what would help you feel more secure in your relationship with Tom? I pondered her question. I think I need to see more openness. I want to know you're willing to share your day with me, even the small things. I want to feel included in your life again. Tom leaned closer, his eyes earnest. I can do that. I'll make it a point to share more with you. It's important for me to rebuild that connection, too. As we spoke, I felt a warmth spreading in my chest. It was the first time in a long while that I felt a flicker of connection between us. Thank you, Tom. That means a lot to me. I want to do this together. Dr. Harper smiled, sensing the shift in our dynamic. This is a great step forward. Remember, healing takes time, and it requires patience from both of you. After our session, as we walked to the car, I felt lighter. I think we're getting somewhere, I said, glancing at Tom with a hopeful smile. I do too, he replied, his voice soft. It feels good to talk like that. I want to keep moving forward with you. That evening, we sat on the couch, and for the first time in a while, I felt safe enough to lean against him. Tom, can we talk about the future? I asked, hesitantly. Of course, he said, wrapping an arm around me. What's on your mind? I want to believe that we can rebuild what we had, but I also need to be honest about my fears. I don't want to rush things. I don't want to rush either. I just want to take it one day at a time and show you that I'm committed to us, he replied earnestly. I smiled, feeling a bit more hopeful. Then let's do that. One day at a time. As I rested my head on his shoulder, I realized that healing was a journey, not a destination. There would be ups and downs, but I was willing to embrace the complexity of love and forgiveness. With each passing day, I felt a little more hopeful, knowing that we were both trying to mend the pieces of our broken hearts. Share this story if you believe that love can overcome even the toughest challenges. Leave a comment about a time when vulnerability led to healing in your life, and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one.